Hello guys, and welcome back to K-Tapes. I'm back this week with a little video. I'm back this month because it's been that long since the last video. I haven't been able to secure nothing too great. What am I saying? No, I do have some really cool stuff. It's just like I've been so spoiled like last December that anything that comes up these days is just like meh, okay. Although no, it's really nice stuff on a regular basis. But of course, if we compare to what I showed you at the very end of 2022, this was just like over the top, mind blowing. So you may not be thrown out of the window with what I'm going to show you, but nonetheless, there's some nice pieces in there. So let's get started. Oh, by the way, I will have maybe 2 more videos coming up. There's one long overdue one that I should have shown you. I should have made maybe a couple weeks ago, and those are the tapes that I've posted on Facebook. So if you've seen those tapes on Facebook, well, I guess you will see them live in my video eventually. But for now, I'm just gonna show you the very last tapes I've posted on Facebook, which was yesterday. And I'm gonna make another video also, but only about late releases. So anything 2006 to 2010, because I got a couple of those and there's like some really cool stuff that I've never actually seen before. So anyway, keep an eye out for that video coming up. Okay, so first one, well, it's something I showed you before. It's Suspiria. But the great thing about this is I sold a copy recently, which was the best copy I've ever found of that film, because it was simply near mint, no sun fade whatsoever. But this copy is really beautiful. To be able to find 2 nice copies of Suspiria in such a short time, that alone is like wow. Because I've seen Suspiria quite a few times for sale, but of course all the time the spine was like really sun faded. Not that I didn't pick it up because of that, but maybe the price wasn't right for the condition of the tape. But this one, the price was fine, and surprising, actually it was a blind buy, because these days I do buy a lot of tapes online, and sometimes the seller will just show the front cover like this, but will not show you the side, the spine, and the back, or even the VHS, the cassette inside. So sometimes I do get a tape, I'm like, oh wow, it's good looking. I look at the tape inside and it's all moldy. It's obviously not the case with this one, because those tape have been cleaned, although I don't remember this one being dirty anyway. But yeah, it's like all my tapes are pristine like that, as you know. And yeah, like this one, I wouldn't say it's unfaded, but it's very close to unfaded. So this was a very, very cool find, because Suspiria is always like a very, a title that's always in demand. Okay, next one. This is, I don't know what this is. It's a TV movie. From 1987, I believe, or 89. It's called Quiet Thunder, and it looks like it's an adventure film. Is it good? Is it bad? I have no idea. I just thought this was quite rare, because TV movies tend to be not released on VHS usually. Like they would just be on TV and that's it, that's all. But there are like a few ones that, of course, made it to tapes back in the States. But otherwise, things like that I didn't know. And again, the price was right. And this is fun because as you can see here, it's the original clamshell. And the original clamshells for the Samsung releases are quite hard to find. Because usually, if I do find a tape like this, which is Samsung, with its original clamshell, the clamshell will be all beat up. Let's say it will be pulled. The part here will all be pulled. It will be like, sorry, I don't have the word in English, but anyway, it would be all beat up. Sorry. So yeah, that's what I want to say. But this one, the case is very beautiful. The sleeve itself is also very beautiful, and the cassette is, of course, also beautiful and near mint. So there you have it. This was Quiet Thunder. All right. Next, this is something that's been renamed. I forgot the title. Something Macho Woman. I wrote it down before. I just forgot. But here it goes under the name of Savage Instinct, and I believe also it was a Trauma production, or at least Trauma bought the rights for this one to distribute it. So, well, there's no sign of this on the sleeve anywhere. It just says Himax Video, and I don't think there's any mention about Trauma anywhere. But in the United States, I think it was eventually, subsequently released by Trauma. So here it goes by the name Savage Instinct. Anyway, I write down the title at the bottom of the screen, so you can see what was the original title for this. And once again, this has a beautiful copy. Right. Next one, this is something I showed you last month, if I'm not mistaken, or perhaps in December when I showed you like a ton of tapes, is Brainwaves. And I did buy another copy. Well, first of all, because that tape is usually very hard to find. It's the second copy I've ever found of this, and I just bought it. But the seller I got it from, again, just posted like pictures of the front cover, and that was it. So it was really hard to tell if this was in good shape or not. I mean, you'll just, at first glance, you'll be like, oh yeah, it's really nice. Well, that's because I cleaned it up. But if you take a closer look right here, and this is something that really pisses me off, is the tape probably like had some water damage here at the bottom. So all this part here with perhaps mold or whatnot made it all dried up with time, and this just falls apart. It's a, again, I'm sorry, I don't know the word in I think it just falls apart, effrité in French. So it just like, yeah, it falls apart. That's the word. Right here, and also at the bottom on the back, which is a little bit worse here. Anyway, I try not to damage it. Was very careful when inserting it back, but I mean the rest of the cover I checked it up like at the top and everything, and it's fine. It's really just this little piece here and the tiny piece at the bottom right there. The rest is really fine, and of course original clamshell, the Adieu label, and of course the tape was also in very good condition, thankfully, because that's always the most important. Of course, you want to have like a really good looking sleeve, but you also want, you know, the matching tape that is also in great shape. Otherwise, it's kind of like you keep one, you throw the other one in the garbage. But in this case, the sleeve was not enough damage to throw it in the garbage. It's still like decent, I mean, okay-ish for Korean tape. So yeah, that's why I kept it. Okay. Moving on to the next one, which is Cyclone. I remember seeing that on the shelf in the video store when I was a kid, and since I come from Montreal, and at the time my English was very terrible. You may say it's still terrible, but hey, you know, I leveled up a little bit. But at the time I couldn't watch any movies in English. I wouldn't really understand much besides like some cartoons on TV. But this one was one I really wanted to see, but they only had the tape in English, so I never got to see it. Anyway, actually I never got to see it, period. I never watched that film. Or maybe just some parts on TV, or a friend of mine had it on cable TV, whatever. Anyway, it always like interested me since, because I love like the bike. At the time I thought it was like super cool, and maybe the chick looked really sexy, I don't know. It's a good combination, I guess, tech and girls. So there you have it, Cyclone. That's a Fred Olen Ray movie. I guess that was one of his perhaps first films, perhaps his first 5 films. And yeah, that's also the original clamshell right here. I like to mention this because it's not always the case. And the tape is also very clean. Cyclone. And this is quite hard to find, by the way. It's perhaps, I've seen it before, but I never took it, not because it's not interesting or anything, it's just because it wasn't in good shape enough to justify picking it up. But this one is quite good. Okay, next we have family reunion, which I thought was Christmas evil for a long time. I have already, I think, 2 copies of this one. One which is in like near mint condition, no sun fade whatsoever. This one also is like, I would say no sun fade, or like barely like 5% sun fade. But the reason I picked it up is because it's under another label. So another distributor right here called Cookdong. So I just picked it up because of that, and also because the price was fine, and also it's also very clean. So there you have it, family reunion. Okay, this one, I don't know. It's an impulsive buy, I think. And also maybe because it was super cheap, so I'm like, why not? But it's the remake of The Fog, the John Carpenter film. I've never seen the remake. It was made, I think, 2005 and didn't go too well in the movie theater. Maybe like was more like a flop. Yeah, nothing more to say. And I think because the price was so cheap, I thought, well, if no one wants it, I can always cannibalize the clamshell and reuse it for something else. And as you can see, it's not even like unfaded. It has a bit of fade. Sadly, I mean, you would think a 2005 tape would have no sun fade, but hey, no, it does. Okay, next, all right, now I'm gonna jump into some Taiwanese films, which I will not say the title because I do not remember for most of them. But I will write the title down below. This was something, I think it's Shaolin Mystagogue. Okay, anyway, you have the title down below. So this one, I picked it up because it's, first of all, it's a bit rare, and it's a small clamshell. I mean, no, it's a normal clamshell, but as you can see, it's the small sleeve, which I mean, maybe later if I do find a small clamshell, I'll just do the swap. But it was in decent shape. This was also a blind buy, by the way. I didn't know, like, just a picture of the front, like, is it nice on the back? Is the tape like all rotten? I don't know. Turns out it was fine, so I'm like, whew, cool. And also, yeah, the sleeve has no or barely no sun fade on the spine, which is really cool. So here you have it. And the tape is very clean. I opened it up, as you can see. Should have put this a little bit better, like this. Oh well, I'll do that later. Anyway, so yeah, and this is usually in South Korea, this is usually a tape that is fairly expensive. It's not cheap. All right, next we have another old one from Sambu, the Sambu label. This was released in 1984, so it's fairly old. I mean, it's almost, yeah, it's up there. It's up there. I think it's among, yeah, the first South Korean tapes that were released on like big clamshells. It's Raging Queen. This one, I didn't remember the title, but it's in English, so no problem. And it is Raging Queen. I mean, it goes under 1 or 2 other titles, I think. But that's the original film. Also, barely no sun fade on the spine. I mean, a little bit, but those usually are always sun faded, those old Sambu tapes. But this one is not too bad. Here you have the back. All right, and let's take a look at the tape, which is also very clean. Okay. Another one with Along Came a Tiger, I think that was it, yeah. Again, I don't think this is a rare film per se, but the Korean tape, at least the small box, again, this is the small sleeve, as you can see, is a bit rare, and that's why I picked it up, because, yeah, when you see those, if the price is good, I mean, those are like part of Korean history videotapes, so you grab them. I mean, if they were like pricey, I would never take that up, pick this up, but I mean, price was alright, so I picked it up. Okay, we have about 10 more. I don't want to do this too long today. Next one is Instant Shaolin or Instant Kung Fu Man. Again, I'm so terrible with those names of those movies. The small clamshell goes for quite a bit of money also. I think this is perhaps the priciest Kung Fu film I have for you today. I've seen like even one website, South Korean website, that has this for sale, and they're asking 200,000 won, which is roughly $180, 170 maybe, I don't know like the exchange rate these days, but it's quite up there. And this is the money they ask for this in South Korea. So shows you how rare this is. So again, the small clamshell in decent condition. I mean, it has like a little bit of a fold if I see with the reflection. That's not too bad. Again, if I house it in a nice little clamshell, it will look very nice. Tape is super clean as well. So really happy about this one, by the way. Not into the Kung Fu stuff, but when I do find rare things and the price is good, I'm really happy about this. Okay, the next one is Girl Penitentiary something. I forgot the title again. It's a Taiwanese film. Is the tape rare? I think I have one copy in stock already, perhaps even two. But again, it was in such great shape, so I thought maybe I should just grab it. And Taiwanese films, believe it or not, are I wouldn't say they're like easy to find in Korea, but they released a lot of them in South Korea. So if you're looking for Taiwanese films, I mean, you would say, well, I will check in Taiwan, but there's not many people from Taiwan or that do live in Taiwan that sells Taiwanese tapes. And if you look on eBay, the few times I've seen Taiwanese tapes selling on eBay, they went for quite a lot of money, simply I think because no one is never offering them for sale. So when they do go for sale, people go nuts. But yeah, South Korea is a very good alternative for those films if you can find, of course, if you can find the tape. The only thing though, they may be cut, but sometimes they're uncut, and if they're cut, it's usually not by much. So anyway, yeah, it's a good alternative. So that's one. There you go. And I think that's the last Asian film I have for you today. Yeah, it is. Okay, so, oh no, there's one last. It's a South Korean film. It's Return of the Shaolin Chef. Again, it goes under other names, but that's the one I remember. With Elton Chung, I think, or maybe he's not in that one. He's in one of the sequels. I think it's him. Again, I'm so terrible with these films. But this is quite rare. Yeah. In South Korea, yeah, those tapes, again, they go for like $100 more or less these days. If you get it for like less than 100,000 won, like Shimanon, you're very lucky. At one point, they were like $50. You can find them like some like curated video stores in Seoul would have them for like 50,000 won, 70,000 won, but they're all like sold out. So I guess now they go like for 100 and more. But this one, again, what I wanted to point out with this tape, the really cool thing is the spine. Once again, it has barely any, if not no sun fade at all. And the tape itself is in gorgeous condition. So I'm really happy I picked this one up. Okay, now we're done with the Asian tapes. Moving on to the next one, we're going to Italy with Poliziotto Sena Paura. I believe this is Magnum Force. No, not Magnum Force, that's a Clint Eastwood film. Magnum, something Magnum, Top Magnum. Again, I wrote down the title at the bottom of the screen. Italian police film, really cool. Oh, there's no should censor right here. Put my thumb on the what you shouldn't see on YouTube. All right, so yeah, let's see the back cover for a bit. I've never seen this film. I know the police movies from Italy are usually quite violent. I think I've seen like maybe 2 or 3 when I was younger, and I was quite impressed, but I'd never pay attention to the rest of them. Maybe I should dive into those films like later on, the ones from the 70s. So yes, there you have it. Italian film, and this doesn't come by very often. Like I said, since I've seen it, I picked it up, and there's no sun fade on the spine. It's a really, I mean, near perfect copy. All right. Next, I have this. I think someone will pick it up. By that I mean I think someone will buy it. Someone showed interest on Facebook, so I would say this one is reserved. I had it in the past, but when I picked this one up before, someone wrote with a pen on the cover, like I think it wrote like the name of the actors or something in Hangul, so it was kind of like, it sucks. But this one is perfect. It's in top shape. And look at this. Look at these images. The movie of course is Space Raiders. Okay, it's a movie from like the mid '80s. But here you have Han Solo from Star Wars. What else do you have? You have Ghostbusters, and here you have maybe a scene from Return of the Jedi, right? So absolutely nothing to do with this film and Ghostbusters on the spine, but here you have it, Space Raiders. And I do like those horizontal sleeves, the covers. They're really cool. Every time I find something like on the horizontal, it's kind of like, ooh, it's a looker. So yeah, anyway, this one is reserved, sadly, but if I do find another one, I will let you know. Okay, we're down to 6 more tapes. The next one we have is Alien Dead. Thankfully, the title is right here on the spine. So this is, again, another Fred Olen Ray movie, if I'm not mistaken. And perhaps is one of his first one, because this is I'm going to take a wild guess here. I think 79 or 1980. So a couple of nice screenshots on the back. There you go. Really happy I picked this one up. I've seen it a few times. It was moldy as hell, so I never bought it. This one is in excellent shape, to say the least, and the tape is also super clean, so that was a pick. All right, next. If I'm not mistaken, I think this picture is from the guy who made The Warriors. Oh my god. I have a blank. There you go. Anyway, that film that he made in the early 80s, not The Warriors, the other one that has like some musical parts in it and has Rick Moranis in it. Brain fart. All right, I'm sorry. Anyway, this movie is not that film. It is actually Vigilante, a movie from the early 80s again. So you have a couple of screenshots here. It was with Fred Williamson and Robert Foster. So it is that film, and it's not the film with this on the cover, which again, the title just escapes. Oh, Streets of Fire. That's it, Streets of Fire. So, well, street and the fire right there. I mean, it's even in the picture. The title is in the picture. So it's not Streets of Fire. It is Vigilante. And once again, beautiful copy with the original clamshell from NVC, which is always a joy to have, and also in top shape. That is a blessing. Okay. Next, I'm gonna go with 2 at a time. Why? Because they're both on the Oasis label, which is really cool to have, because the Oasis label, they're really hard to get because they're quite collected in South Korea. People just, Oasis, and they collect that. Again, first I heard about that and I was like, really? Why? But turns out that, yeah, people kind of go for these. I don't know why. I think because they look really good. Anyway, I said that in the past, but I'm just rambling here. So here is Space Rage. Again, gorgeous cover. I picked it up just because I love the cover. And it is absolutely unfaded, near mint. I mean, can get a better copy than this. I think it's not the original clamshell, or it is the original clamshell, just it is chipped on the corner. I could maybe change that later on. But by the way, Oasis never had their own clamshell. There was no like engraved Oasis or anything. That actually, at least that I know of. All the Oasis tapes I had were like just blank red clamshell, and that was it. So the tape also is in excellent shape. So this is Space Rage. And the next one, I mean the other one is Nightforce. Yeah, Nightforce. So once again, excellent shape. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing else to say. I'm just looking at this red, if it's like, let me double check. If it's like a stain, or yeah, you see it's all stained because that was the red clamshell that actually does that. It is like, it wasn't like water damage or anything. It's just like the aging of the clamshell itself. Sometimes you have those red ones, you would just like do this with your finger and your finger will all be red, like powdered red. It's pretty weird. If I do have one at one point, I'll show it to you in like another video. Yeah, so this one I did change the clamshell for that reason, and maybe because it was all beat up. So it's not its original clamshell. Again, like I said before, there's no original Oasis clamshell. They're just like blank red ones. But I did change it for a Yuho because I like the color. And I didn't have any red ones lying around. So yeah, if you're asking me, yeah, this might be like some stain from the box, the clamshell itself, and it may have some tiny bit of sun fade, because I know someone asked me for this, so I'm just gonna show you so you can compare. As you can see, this is the red, the original orange, and here is the red and the faded orange. In case, sorry, I got like a bit of a sore throat. So in case you ask me, so you can actually see with one that is 100% sun fade, not sun faded. There you go. Otherwise, it's a very good looking copy. Okay, the last two, well, oh my God. Let's do a 2-in-1. So two Mexican films. The first one right here is, the title is actually correct on it. It says El Fiscal de Gero. And I did check it on IMDb and it is the right title. Although the photos, I'm thinking those are not from that same film, although I've never seen the film, but it doesn't look like it's from that film. The photos on the back, perhaps though, those are from the actual film. Again, a tiny bit of sun fade on the spine, otherwise very beautiful. And if we look at the tape, it is clean as expected. And the last one here is a Lola film. The Lola is the name of the character in the movie, but it says Caro's escape, but it's Lola's incarcerated or like taken hostage, something like that. I mean, the title in Spanish, I think it says something like that. So it's kind of not really what they wrote here, but goes along with that. So there you have it. So it's Mexican film, action film, super cool. I love those pictures. I mean, like those cutout photos, like of a terrible like video screen cap. I mean, it's cool. So this was again a Mexican action film. It's on the Aju label. I love the Aju label. They always come up with some really cool stuff to release. So those are the last two films I have for you. Two Mexican films. I usually don't buy the Mexican films, but it's been so long and those were in really good shape, so I picked them up. Okay, so let's do a little roundup very quickly before this video gets too long. Although it's under 30 minutes, so that's really nice. All right. Yes. Okay, so it doesn't fit in my old thing, but almost. Here, that will be my, how do you say that? The thumbnail. I guess this will be my thumbnail. There you go. That looks nice. Nice enough. All right, so this was everything I had to show you this week. Those were posted, like I said, yesterday on Facebook with prices, information, everything. So if you're interested, you can always check this out. Ask me if there's anything you want, anything you're wondering, other questions that were not answered in this video, perhaps. And also, I'm gonna do another one about the my last Facebook post that was a couple weeks ago as well. I've never made a video. I should make one, so I'll do one. And also one last video about all the post 2006 tapes I just received. I'm not going to do that now also because I'm still waiting for about 5 really cool tapes among those. So yeah, anyway, that's all I have for today, guys. Thank you very much. Before I run out of voice, I'm gonna cut this one just now. So yeah, I mean, I already went over 1,000 subscribers, and if I do get like 4,000 hours of views, I can monetize this channel. And if I monetize this channel, I may be able to get myself a coffee for free. So that's a good thing. All right, guys, that's enough. See you with the next one. Cheers.